Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, June 21, 2021, 2021, Monday, and another talk of safety and COVID-19 related. Good morning again, because there's some change. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar, this is Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day of June 21, 2021, Monday. Talk being Civil Field Engineering, COVID-19, HSC Engineers Role, Designs, Construction Methods, Contracts, Organizations, Communications, Coordinations, Quality, AnnexSL, why be quality, be behind quality of works, why be quality of concrete, why be quality in general. That's the important talk, and because we have got with us so many issues in this connection, and therefore always certification is demanded, and that's very important. And certification is not only demanded, it should prove that it's something. It should prove that it's worth whatever I speak, whatever I do, whatever I conduct with. It must be in accordance with my capability and the certificate support. Certificates means compatibility, consistency, expertise, declaration, and it should be seen in work. It should be seen in conduct. Not these papers, these instruments are meant for wall posting only, but are worth and should claim value of work also. That's what I would say. Certification means something, and we have to come true to that. It's not simply because I say or somebody else says. Certificates means it's reflection in work, it's reflection in conduct, and if it's not done, there is no meaning of certificate. It's same thing as without certificate. Means we should respect our conduct in profession or otherwise. We should respect every act in life. Quality, I always stress very much, because without quality, I think nothing can be recognized. Without quality, nothing can be recognized, no work can be recognized. There is no meaning of any work if it doesn't have particularly two factors, and those factors are quality and SHE or HSE, whatever you call it. This means health, this means safety, this means environment. Safety, health, and environment. These are no jokes. No, there are no jokes as such. These are fact in life. Everything cannot be said every time, but should be interpreted every time accordingly. I can write two words: quality, safety, health, environment, and also we can write work here or life here, because both domains of quality and SHE are related to life, and life is related to work, and work is related to development, and development is related to nation, and nation is related to whole world. So these aspects cover entirety. If these aspects do not work, these aspects do not support us, I don't think it can be, you can say, more than lawlessness, more than, excessive freedom, not controlled freedom. If quality doesn't present itself, if quality doesn't work, say if quality doesn't work, what works? dishonesty, lies, ignorance, negligence, you name, and that is approved. Quality means complete complete work. Whatever way you want to do, you do. There is no surveillance on that. There happens no conduct on that. There happens no supervision on that. Nothing happens on activity. And also, in addition to that, on top of that, if you don't care of health or safety of our people, and also concern about our surroundings, environment, you see what is left. What is left then? Only use of material to your desire, use of wealth to your desire, whether or not it gives requirement, it gives us meeting our requirement, it gives us our life use. What actually do we want? It's very elementary question. We speak a lot about quality, about safety, about health, about environment. All world people speak, but how far they transform those words, those letters of speech into reality, that is a point to be considered for this. I always talk this way because I am concerned, but I alone cannot do anything. I can do only to my requirement, to my encompassing. I have no hold on others. This is life. We have to be little different in our approach. Yes, we have to be little different. We have to be little different because we are educated. If I am educated by whatever qualification I do have, whatever professional knowledge I have attained, or whatever expertise I attain, if I do not use that, do not apply that in our activities, in our life, general life, professional life, social life, there is no meaning of my education, my experience, my expertise. I speak very generally when I look at works, when I look at people. What I mean to say, wearing clothes, very attractive clothes, is one aspect of life, and what is behind those clothes is another aspect. People have good cars, good houses, attractive houses, and they call it good status. Means status is not compared to you can say quality of life. There is variation in quality of life everywhere. It depends on what level of wealth you have. But I don't consider that quality of life. That's not quality of life. Quality of life is very basic, just like health is very basic. You say I'm healthy, means there are some points, means you don't have any pain, you don't have any discomfort in your body, you feel pleased, I'm healthy, you are taking normal food, good food. You can say bodily you are strong, mentally you are strong, no worries. That is called good health. I am not saying that good health means you have to be, you can say, wrestler, or you have to be very strong person. As far as your body is well balanced and your life is okay, you are taking good food, normal food, you are conducting exercises, you work, you have some routine in your life, that is, all those points can say constitute good health. Same way, when you work, you keep everything safe, yourself safe, your people safe, You take all precautions that nothing bad will happen to you, no accident shall happen to you, and you care about your surroundings, your environment, you care about nature. That's called, SHE, safety, health, and environment. In our professional life, in our general life, in safety, generally we say no safety, no pain. This means if you know safety, if you abide by safety regulations, you will not find any pain. That is KNOW, no safety. If you understand safety, if you apply safety, if you abide by safety considerations, you may not find pain, means no pain. KNOW, no, and then NOW, no. No safety, no pain. That is one line. And reverse is also true. NO safety, no safety, then KNOW, no, no pain. Means if you don't abide by safety, if you don't care about safety, you shall certainly no pain, KNOW, no. Means if you abide by safety, you may not feel any pain, and if you don't abide by safety, you may feel whatever kind of pain, loss of lives, loss of materials, loss of your near and dears, and loss of whatever you could not expect. Life is more important or work is more important, we have to compare. If you compare two, one side you keep life, on the other end you keep work. You are working for life or life is working for work. Just try to understand. If I keep life important than work, this means work is my support for my life. Life dominates, work doesn't dominate. Work is a support, it helps me. And if I say no, I don't care for life, I care for work, means there is little confusion. Work should support life. Work should support life means we should be safe in work. Only then life moves. And if I'm not safe in my work, maybe I collapse, I fall from height and lose my legs, lose my some other body part, or I may die. This can happen. Maybe one becomes permanently disabled. That is much more dangerous than living, because who can support you? Who shall support you? That's what I'm saying. SH, safety and health. If you are safe, provided you are healthy, you shall remain healthy. If you are not safe, you may not be healthy because you meet some bad act, bad accident. You may die, you may lose your life in fatal accident. This can happen. There is nothing new in this. This means safety must have some quality criteria in this. It must be qualitative. It must be systematic. Safe, being safe on work is not simply that you have to care about safety only. You have to care about yourself. You have to think about yourself. You have to think about others. Very, very basic points I'm telling. When I work, whatever work I have, it doesn't matter. Work or other than work time, we have to be safe because we have to work, we have to live. It doesn't matter that all time I should be on work. I can be thinking. Thinking is my work. But while I am thinking, if I don't care about my surroundings, about my environment, about my means how I'm sitting, I'm walking, sometimes concentration is so high that we forget what we do, where we are. It happens. When people use mobiles, they drive cars, they forget that somebody is behind them, somebody is ahead of them. They are so immersed in mobile activity, they forget others. You think, is that safe? I'm not talking of law and order here. I'm talking of some psychological point. Okay, you are very busy, I understand. I am also very busy. Everybody is busy in life. When you are on work, you are busy. But it doesn't mean that you got a right to be ignorant. You have got a right to be carelessness. That you don't care about others. If you're driving, or even if you're not driving, you're talking, you are not caring who is sitting with you, whom you are talking. You're going to talk and talk and talk. Is that right? You have to keep safety of your every part of body. Excessive use of mobile impacts on your hearing capacity, impacts on your talking capacity. What I say, safety is not physical alone. Safety should be total. Just like we say total quality, there should be total safety. Total safety from restricted point of view. If I say no, I have to be very, you can say, centric on work. I have to be loyal to my work, appreciable. You're working, you're feeling you're responsible for work. Be responsible. That's very nice. But maintain your health. That's also very nice. Both are clubbed together. If I am in charge of some work, it's my duty to make sure that those who work, who assist me, must also keep safe and healthy. If they are my employees, if they work for me with dedication, I am responsible for them as an employer. That is also true. I have to take their care. That's my point. That's a part of safety's quality, health's quality, quality of health. When I say very good quality you are maintaining in safety, what does it mean? It means I abide by systems, I take care of my people, I take my care because safety is responsibility of everybody. In works we accept like this, we expect like this, that don't think that you are not responsible safety, you are responsible for your safety, for safety of people around you, and everyone is having same responsibility, has same responsibility as you are. Whatever position you have doesn't matter. Safety impacts other one. If your safety is adversely impacted, it shall impact other one also. Try to understand, it's not independent safety, it is interactive safety. If I am not safe, you are also not safe, because I have to take my care. I am not taking my care, then how can I take your care? So whole link of safety is broken. I am not talking extravagantly, I am talking facts. If car driver doesn't think of safety, those passengers with him cannot be safe. Try to understand this. Safety is group activity. It is interactive relation. How do we maintain it? How do we carry it? How do we move with it? That is called quality standard in safety. If discipline is enjoyed rather than feeling that it's a problem, it's a burdensome, or it's something overburden, we say discipline is a must. Discipline is also a part of safety, because discipline means organization. Discipline doesn't mean undue control. Self-discipline is very important point. If I can't discipline myself, if one cannot discipline itself, how can we discipline others? I desire something. Desire is one point. But I say, no, I deserve it. That's another point. And both have different quality approach. When I desire something, that is not confirmed, that is not authentic, but I say, okay, I desire it. But no, I deserve it. Then I say, I qualify for that. I qualify for that. I have ability equivalent to that requirement, which gives me that point or that value. So there's a difference like that, deserve and desire. So safety is related to within itself equality, just like quality itself within itself has equality. So you can say, if you go further into depth of these subjects, you will find work-based relations with everybody, and on every activity we do in life. Even if you work in office, safety is a question mark, health is a question mark, because how many hours we sit in office every day? Maybe 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, depending on your workload. How do you conduct those hours? Means it's very important. How many hours you concentrate, how many hours you talk to people, how many hours you sit in meetings, how many hours you can say you sit in the AC, how many hours you go on sites. All these points count on your safety and health. Sometimes people say, oh, you are working in office, don't worry about safety. What's problem with safety? We say that, but that's not point here. Everywhere safety is required in different considerations. In office also safety is a question. If you use AC all time, you think you are safe, you are not safe. AC dehydrates yourself. AC, impacts on health. You think when ACs were not there, did people not work? They used to work. It's not that AC is a facility. It's not a requirement. But people have made it a requirement. Okay, make it a requirement. But requirement like you take chapati, you take your food, limited one. But what happens now? You may be in office or you may be in home. You may be wherever you go. You may be in car, you may be in bus, you may be in train, you may be in flight. You can't stay without AC. I still remember one small boy, maybe 5-6 years, lesser than that, came to my home belonging to rich family, and I did not use AC. I had no AC. I was sitting just with phone, and the boy asked me, "Uncle, you don't have AC here?" Yes, I said, "You go to AC, you will find that." That boy was so crazy, so hungry for AC. He could not sit just for 10 minutes with me, because I was not sitting in AC room. Oh, uncle, it's very hot. You think of, if a young boy, not young boy, infant boy, if an infant boy cannot digest temperature, what do you think his health would be? That boy's health would be. You think that? That is a unit. That boy is infant. That boy is not well developed in body and mind. But that boy knows AC for him. Without AC, that boy, that girl cannot live, that kid cannot live. What you are doing? What production you are doing for future? If all our armed forces, they think of, no, we want AC room, you think what shall happen? What shall happen? That's what I'm saying. Safety, health, and environment are very much important for everyone, and it's a part of engineering. Very much part of engineering. It's part of COVID-19 as well. I'm now taking COVID-19 because it is an impact on humanity. It's very important subject now for me, for everybody. It cannot be taken for granted. I cannot consider it only as a disease. I consider it as a part of nature. It's no disease, no more disease. Had it been disease, we should have something. We have done something, but we have not known it till now. This is unknown. You may say disease, but this is a part of life now. How to handle this is very important. That's why I always put in subject COVID-19, because it's not only killing us, it's teaching us. It's telling us, it told us, change yourself. Change yourself. I am humanity changer. Just like we can say engineers are agents of change, doctors are agents of health change. We say that or not? Doctors or medicos are not agents, they are agents of health change. They change your health, they bring your bad health to good health, they give you your health assistance, and you enjoy your health. And in engineering, we say engineers are agents of change. Change of what? Change of living standards, change of conducting standards, change of development, change of all that. So we have two sectors, two domains in world. One is health, which is linked to safety and environment. Other is engineering, which is linked to humanity and development of world. That's why these both are engineering domains. Both are engineering domains. If I'm not healthy, I can't live safe. If I'm not healthy, I can't live safe. My workers cannot be safe. And when I'm not safe, I cannot think, I cannot concentrate. That point we have to understand from safety viewpoint, because safety is my first basic right. To be safe, to be healthy, and to be with good environment. Nobody can stop me. I don't need this right from anyone. This is my basic right. To be safe, to remain healthy, and to enjoy good environment. But environment right has been polluted by whole world. So my right has been violated. My right of health also has been violated by COVID-19 and abuse of COVID-19 organization by every country. No country can claim today that they organized well. No country in the world can say that. There is no single country in the world that can say we organized handling COVID-19, because still we do not know. On this day, still we do not know what is COVID-19, from where did it come, how did it organize itself. That's a point of big concern. How did COVID-19 organize itself? Human cannot organize. COVID-19 organized. Beauty of COVID-19 is that is much more powerful than human being. It's superpower currently, you can say. If there is super unknown power in this world, unknown superpower, that is COVID-19. Until it is cleared, it's understood well. We have not understood it. None. All fictitious statement, all speculative statement, there is no clear understanding. This means we cannot know secrets of this health issue. This has impacted health of 8 billion people around the world. Uniformly, you can say, if something comes like that, it takes position everywhere all over the world. How can you say that it's normal? It's not normal. It has become a problem of psychology. It has become a problem for your body. It has become problem for society everywhere. It has become problem for economy. It has become problem for every act, every requirement. Our requirements are broken. Our living style is broken. Our community style is broken. Our homes are broken. Societies are broken. Systems are broken. What is not broken? Tell me. You name something, you'll get it. 1.5 years has changed entire system. Those who used to always behave or claim, oh, I'm very rich, I have to take world tour, I have to go to some country, 2 or 3 countries in summer vacation or some other time. It's my standard, my family cannot stay without that. You ask them now how far they are going. Flights have come down, trains have come down, transport has come down. What has not come down? All big hotels have come down. luxurious style has come down. Believe me, nature has changed us. Nature wanted all this indirectly and it's telling now, change yourself. But are we? That is the only question. Are we ready for this impact to receive it? We cannot. This means we have not built up a quality system in ourselves to accept changes. Comfort is more important for certain people. I am not talking of those who are working in, I mean to say at least 10 to 15% people, 10 to 15 or say 20% people in world, 1.5 to 2 billion people in world who think they are affluent, they are very powerful in money, they can't change. That is also true. They can't change. And COVID-19 has done justice to everybody. It did not check who is poor or who is rich. People spend millions of rupees or other currencies for treatment of COVID-19, but still they had to lose their life. What does it mean? Means even if you have money, you can't play with COVID-19 because still it is a secret. Yes, vaccinations are going on, other things, that's different. That's not treatment, that is just a support to have safety against that. So here is safety. If you want safety against the impact of COVID-19, only ways that you should be ready, you should be protected. Loss prevention. I used to call this loss prevention. We call it in safety, health and environment subjects, loss prevention. Because if you say, I don't believe in loss prevention, I believe in later stage, means okay, there's a loss, what to do? Lost is lost. But I say, okay, safety is actually, I don't say, and everybody says that prevention is better than cure. Why to worry about cure if you prevent? If you protect yourself from being impacted, it's better. That's right, it should be. But how far do we understand that? That's what I say. It's quality thinking. It is quality thinking. Everybody should understand that. Not in panic, no. Panic won't give you anything. I say, no, I want injection. No, vaccine should not be taken in panic because this is support. Don't be in panic. Try to understand. If you had understood this previously, last year, I think it would be much better. But people still do not understand. Loss prevention is not simply to have vaccination. No, inoculation is not enough. Loss prevention means you have to take care of all those acts we should not do. How many people are taking? We should not resort to those acts which invite COVID-19. Those are being carelessness. Do not worry about PPs. Don't wear mask. Remove mask and talk on phone. Wearing mask is hanging from your chin, or it's somewhere else, or you are keeping it somewhere else and working. I was very angry. I went to a barber shop. I saw all those barbers were not wearing any mask. Those who are having services, they did not wear masks. Now what to do with those people? When I said, okay, my time came, please wear mask, I want. I was wearing mask. I said, no, I can't do it if you don't remove. I will not remove it. My hand comes from my face, I will not remove it. You do my cutting or you don't do. You do as much as possible. I will not remove this cloth from my nose and mouth. What I am saying, this is loss prevention. Try to understand. Don't think that somebody will help you. Vaccination also shall help you to some extent only. It will not give treatment. It shall just help you for something or some time. But If you want real help, you have to keep your unknown guest off from your home, from your body. Only then you can get something. That's why safety and health are important. If you are not safe against COVID-19, your health shall be adversely affected and it shall spoil environment of your family, environment of your neighborhood, and then environment of state and nation and world. One goes to all. That is purpose of this point raising of COVID-19. I'm not expert in COVID-19, but there's no need of expertise. It's common now. Every kid knows how to protect. Still, I find half people do not bother about this. Half people do not bother. Means 50% society don't bother. You can go to England, you can go to USA. USA has clearly said no need of mask. Means there are such people who do not know what can happen and they say, okay, don't wear masks. Wilderness, foolishness. Foolishness. You don't know anything. You're so sure about vaccine that it will help you. I don't understand reason. What's logic behind that? They say herd immunity we have got. Okay, you got herd immunity, but it doesn't mean you're safe. How can you prove you're safe? I'm not scientist, I'm not doctor, but common sense is more than scientist and doctor. If suppose 70% people or 80% people have got herd immunity, how you think they are safe? Yes, maybe they don't infect with each other, but internal infection, what about that? If suppose you are a part of herd and this affects your body, it develops within, you are impacted. Because we don't have answers to questions, we can't answer now. What is COVID? How does it behave? What is origin? What is real solution? What is real reason? We do not know anything about that. I used to write a lot about postings on Facebook about my understanding of COVID from this source or from that source, whatever information I could collect, whatever information I could get. For example, some French scientist reported in one, I think, journal or somewhere that he tried to find temperature at which COVID-19 can be destroyed. And that scientist reported that at 92 degrees Celsius it can be destroyed, it can be burned. Okay, that's a good point. If that scientist conducted some experiment, it's good one, it's a part of research, innovation. But who bothers now? Tell me, did you find somebody talking about this? No one talks about that. Now, fact is, he tried. He conducted experiment and he said that at 92 degrees Celsius, this dangerous element, this dangerous creature can die. It's a point of concern, but I do not find people think about that. But this is point, means at this temperature it would die. But can we create that temperature for us? We cannot stay in 92 degrees Celsius. It's boiling point of water, more than around that. You may say 100 degrees Celsius is boiling point of water. It's around that. It's not bad. It's good one to understand. What I'm saying, I used to write that size of this particle is very small. It's like particle of clay or even smaller than that. Clay, I mean to say, it's a kind of this soil which we use for irrigation purpose, which we use for field in cropping, growing crops. And clay is, means it's very fine soil, finer, much finer than sand and much finer than silt. This soil is very, very fine, means if you put water, it absorbs it, put water on that, it will swell. There are certain minerals in this clay soil. If you add water to clay when it's dry, it will absorb water, it will swell to many 100 percentages. That's property of the soil. So what I say, if soil particle of named clay soil is 0.002 millimeter, 0.00, I think 2 or 3 zeros millimeter means what size it is. That is, so 1 millimeter if you consider, how many, 1 over 1 millimeter, 1 over, you can say 100, like that means 0.002%. Can you see that? No. Maybe you see, but size of this particle COVID-19 is 1/10 of that particle clay. This means you can't see this particle even in electronic microscope. Possibly. You may feel its impact, but you may not see it. Because we cannot do it. It's very light. It's, I think, lighter than air. Maybe. Lighter than air. What to do in that case? That's a point where we have to stick. We have to understand. That's the reason quality of understanding is very important. Argument is no use. Try to understand basics. Is very light particle, and when it is very light, it can enter through revels of your doors. Reveal, you understand? REVAL. Space, you can say, between your wall and door frame or window frame. It can pass through that also due to wind. Your windows, these revels may not be sealed well. It can pass through small spaces below your door shutter, behind floor. There is a very small space you live. It can pass through that. It can also pass through your fly mesh. It can pass through your, area to your room. Wherever you live in that area, there's environment, there's air. It can pass from that air to your room, to your accommodation. But you think it keeps on moving. That's what doctor says. I don't believe that. It may move if there is gust or high kilometer wind, high breeze. But what shall happen? Even if it moves, you can you can draw it with your nose, you can inhale. How can you say no? Even sometimes masks may not stop them. Sometimes. That's what saying. If you are wearing mask, you are not wearing glasses. It can go to your eyes also. This is what we have to think qualitatively, analytically. Analysis is quality procedure. Quality, SHE are clubbed now. Quality in safety, quality in health, and quality in environment, quality in quality, and quality in work, and quality in thinking, and quality in doing, and everywhere some kind of quality works. That's why I'm stressing on this. Not because on work only, because also it is to be impressed on thinking. Logical thinking, reasonable thinking, practical thinking, all are required. We have not understood COVID-19 till now. Maybe 30% we have understanding of its impacts, not of solutions. And I don't know, time has come or has not come that it will reveal its secrecy. It will reveal its secrecy. Nobody can find it out. No way. We are not that specifically expert in world. All experts have yielded. All experts have failed, in fact. Only talks and talks and talks, walks and walks and walks. I heard many interviews from all over the world. No one can say we are near its solution. No, not at all. What actually it is, nobody knows. Frankly speaking, nobody knows. We say We can't live in 92 degrees Celsius. And it enjoys this privilege, this virus. It enjoys this privilege. I can live in 92 degrees Celsius. These people cannot stay. That is privilege which it enjoys. Can you create temperature all over 92 degrees and you stay safe? It can practically be done, but it's not possible. No way. Well, this is what I have to say. We have to think qualitatively. We have to work qualitatively. And quality, safety, and all works. That is health, environment, and technology of work. All are very important. All have to be relied upon. And that is my purpose of quality statement, safety, health, and environment statement. Sometimes we have overconfidence. Sometimes our workers have overconfidence. Don't tell me, I will do myself. I know what to do. Okay, that's why I employed you. You know what to do. But still I am alerting you because ultimately I am responsible for you. I am liable for your life and for your payment. And you say, I take care. You take care, that's your duty. You have to make sure your work is safe. You are safe. You are safe is first requirement and work is safe is second requirement. If you are not safe, work can't be safe. That's also, I can't stop if somebody collapses from higher levels. How can I stop? By whatever way, negligence, ignorance, not using PPs, not using harness. If somebody falls, somebody drops from height, nobody can save. Means there is no alternative. You have to use PPEs, special PPEs for your safety. That's very important. And you have to develop yourself like that. You have to develop in your mind that you shall go back home to see your people. That is development. That is quality approach. It's not because you're earning alone. You have to see your people, your survivors, your dependents. Because it's their right also. Your right as well. Is that right preserved? When you play with safety, when you play with health, you have to make that. Same thing, COVID-19. Oh, it won't happen to me. People say like that. Oh, it won't happen to me, don't worry. I'm very strong. I have seen people like that. Many people speak that way. Oh, it will not affect me, don't worry, don't worry. What do you mean, don't worry? I'm not worried about you. If you want to commit suicide, commit suicide. I'm not worried about you. I am worried about myself. I am worried about others because if you get it, you don't take care of yourself, you shall become a carrier of this and you will transmit it to someone else, to your family people, to society people, and you have no right to do as such. That is why freedom of liberty to an extent health is concerned can be compromised. You have no right to infect others. Even you don't have any right to infect yourself. But okay, you contract it, no problem, you contract it, you will be isolated. But you have to take care of others before being contracted because no one can play with COVID-19. COVID-19 is everywhere. Sometimes it takes rest and we think it has gone. Sometimes they say it is first wave, it is second wave. Well, this is terminology. You can consider whatever way you want to consider. But I think there is no wave at all. It is a continuous wave like river flows, like sea waves, like gust, wind, etc. It's a continuous flight. It never even lands. It didn't come here to land. but it came here to work. And this has been working. Yes, sometimes it plans, and that time you think it has gone. It's more intelligent than us because it is natural now until we don't know. Until we know it is natural. It's the important point. Until we know it is natural. Just give me 5 minutes, I'll be back. So back again. Now, I was talking about quality and all that, which is very important from every point of view, and I explained a lot in this 40 minutes talk. Now, I think there's no argument on that, except that we have to respect quality, we have to respect safety in every walks of life. Quality has to be complied with defined requirements. No future if no quality persists. Engineers must realize quality facts, and in particular, civil engineers have to change quality aspect of society, or else quality cannot exist. And you may say society may not exist systematically. Well, I say quality cannot exist means system doesn't exist, because system is quality and quality is system. If system fails, it fails because of lack of quality, and if quality doesn't work, nothing can work. It is haphazard, or we can say hazards come up. If you want to see hazard, you remove system, you will find hazards. Systems means controlless society, like you can say no law and order means the system is broken. People don't worry about law and order, or you can say it's misrule or abuse of rule or absence of ruling. So that's the kind of quality, and we can see all is already written there. What I was saying, a qualitative design, what we do, design means not of structures alone, other designs as well, must be based on decision, must be decisive, should be safe, should be qualitative, should be reliable. And in construction, particularly when we talk of construction, which is a very expensive field, where generally whole budget, you can say, if not whole, 70% budget goes to construction all over the world, particularly where populated countries like ours. We can say construction consumes a lot of money, where people are involved and machines are involved, and this means safety is involved and health is involved. Those must be based on quality and safety. We cannot take safety in isolation and quality in isolation of work. When we see work is done, it is presumed that safety is intact and quality is intact. If you can call it work, or you can know this is scrap, because there was no insurance of quality, there is no insurance on safety. We cannot say that work is reliable. This is basics one. Being in construction, we deal with all kinds of resources. This is very general. We deal with resources like machines. Machines should be safe. If machine remains unsafe, uncontrolled, it can collapse. Crane booms can collapse. Other machines can collapse. Tower cranes can collapse. Other machines can collapse, and it can result in lives, loss of lives, and loss of time. If accident means, if an accident results in accidents, it's a big loss, which impacts on time, which impacts on cost, and of course, quality is lost. There's no need explaining or elaborating that quality is not lost. Time is lost and cost is lost. Human lives are lost. Quality is lost ultimately, because there was no quality issue considered on those activities. Only we pushed. That's all. Generally, people say on projects, "Oh, you push it." When you talk of quality, they show impression as of why I'm talking as consultant. You are working with a contractor. It is like a statement, Oh, you are a consultant. You are not a contractor. Contractor, according to people, means how to make money, how to make more money. There's a money That is fixed for profit. This contractor's profit says so many percentage, but they want more. And it's sure that they won't double it. Maybe difference of 2-3% out of their understanding. If they wanted to make profit of 10, it may be 12. But at what cost? Suppose it results in accident, or if it results in rework, that will be much more than loss, loss of total profit. But impatient people cannot understand. As engineer, I can think, you can think, but you cannot change mind of those greedy people, those avaricious minds who just are interested in making money. I haven't seen engineers who become businessmen, who become contractors. They don't care for engineering after becoming that. They forget that they are engineers. They become true businessmen to just to make money. Just to make money. And that attempt is very dangerous. Therefore, we have to be very careful. So, let's go to our talk of quality world. Yesterday, I tried to include in this some environment issues, health issues. Let me go to them. It's a very important one. I think it should be somewhere, I can say, I'm not exactly sure about that. No. Cycles, I think. F1. No. Well, let me see it. I don't know if I'm not finding this. Okay, let me see how it works. Yes, it is site environment. Just I'm taking it random because it's the important one in stock. It's important in the stock, and I start like there's other talk also I'll do later on, and this is safety actually. Let us say what it says about. Now there are some chapters on safety talk I have already done. There are some safety talks that already done, and these are available somewhere on my videos, but I will bring here and discuss with them this chapter on safety, that's HSC, and it says what actually for general provisions on safety discipline in addition to those included with various method statements on this chapter. Relevant points should be extracted from descriptions in line to requirements on relevant activities. It should be noted that safety standards vary from organization to organization, company to company, client to client. Just consideration of economy on project cannot exclusively be criteria to avoid or reduce safety measures. A minimum level of safety measures installation should be made a must for site supervise to ensure that workforce must work safely. It is preferable to work with acceptable level of safety rather than losing lives of workers. I think you understand that. What points in these are? Means we have to understand What is safety? On activities related to our work. Safety standards can vary from one organization to another organization. This can vary, but minimum basics are same. Just we have to consider basics. Forget luxury, forget privileged. What is minimum must be considered. And if you do not consider them, you will reduce safety, means you will lose something. Minimum level of safety measures must be installed for supervision to keep workforce safe, and it is preferable to work with acceptable level of safety rather than losing lives of workers. These are all basics requirements. Now there is some brief statement I will like to give you. There are many statements that is about site environment, and in this case I am talking of removal of hazardous materials. Hazardous materials. What is hazard? What do you mean by hazard? Can you think? Hazard. If we know what is problem that is just coming in, we cannot call it hazard. But we don't know anything. We don't know anything. We say, oh, it's natural hazard. It has happened, which instantly comes, and we do not know about that. We could not anticipate that. Something happens out of program, something happened which nobody could dream. That type of unexpected event, that type of, you can say, even you may call it force majeure, though it's not force majeure, but you may say to that level, something unexpectedly happened which nobody could understand how it happened, but it happened, and it caused tragedy, it caused losses to human or to otherwise. That can be called hazard, and its act otherwise also it is material, it is some natural act, or it is material also. So in statements, when we write something like this, what I'm saying is, statement is method statements. There is always a generalized format. Not necessary what I'm showing you is that just an indicative general format it is. We write about scope, what is scope this statement stands for, what's objective of this statement, what are references we are using. I have just given this in one line, but you can just keep down as index. So we have to project our scope, we have to project what references we are using in this, we are referring to them, because those references may also be read when you write something or somebody reads your statement. That reference must be clear about which drawing or which reference of specification or something else we are talking about. Then we can say definitions. We have to give about certain responsible people, responsible posts, responsible positions, responsible roles. We have to write them, and what safety measures we have to apply, we have to move, we have to adopt for this work. And what is this work, how it is going to be done, that is method, and what machines or equipment we will be supported with or required, and what are reference documents that are attached. This is minimum format. You can reduce this format or you can enlarge this format. That depends upon you. What do you know? How do you want to move? But information must reach concerned workers concerned, responsible posts who are involved in the project. So in this case, we are talking of removal of hazardous materials from site. Maybe it's not applicable on every site. May be applicable, may not be applicable, but information must be known. That is important. So what we say that in this case, now what does it say scope? Let us see what scope says. Scope says, purpose of this statement, method statement, is to define procedure that shall be implemented for investigation, quantification, and disposal of hazardous materials upon site. Hazardous material upon site. What can be hazardous material there? Think of, because site has not started. What material can be hazardous? Can you think of that? Think of that. So says purpose of this method statement is to define procedure that shall be implemented for investigation, quantification, and disposal of hazardous materials upon site. You have to investigate, you have to quantify, and then you have to dispose of. This is brief scope. Then we can say which documents, as we said, refer to. There can be any document. There's some authority working on this site. This site lies in the area of certain authority. Operational authority means a company, it could be, whoever it be, what regulations of that organization require if you have to work there, because this area is under their control. Then some contractors working there. It may be EPC contractor or it may be some other. There must be some manual for HSE or SHE in that contracting company. So there are two regulations or two manuals, you can say. One is for that organization who controls this area, and other one who is going to improve or construct something in this area, that's called contractor. So both have certain their own documents which we refer here, and we can also refer other documents which this work relates to, that may be, if required, so drawings or specifications or specific information or specific actions required, that we can refer to. We are going to comply with those requirements. That's important point here. Now there are certain designations that work on sites, work on projects. Those may be contractual designations or they may be non-contractual designation, but these are only indicative, telling roles of people. For example, it can be engineering, procurement and construction designation, EPC. There may be safety issues, there may be project site manager, or there may be construction manager or project manager or leader or safety manager or safety officer, geotechnical engineer, infrastructure superintendent, surveyor, and many more. Engineer, site engineer, this engineer, that engineer. You can write whatever you want to write, but that should be limited one. That should be direct responsibility for these people. They should be agents of contractor, they should be spokesperson of contractor, but they should be somewhere on record. So this is what I say, definitions is required, definition. Then responsibility means roles of these people are required, which are common, I can say. Designations tell themselves what roles they are. Roles are indicative only. For example, EPC contractors shall coordinate with all concerned authorities for respective approval of hazardous materials disposal. We cannot simply say, I take this material and dispose. You have to take permission from authority to authority. One permission gives you one authority, collect this from here and take it there or transport it to that site, but within law limits, within regulatory limits. Then there's another one who is little junior, contractor, that is project site manager or leader, shall plan, resource and control activities required for orderly execution of hazardous material disposal. Means you have to plan, you have to do it, you have to check it, you have to improve it. That's one role. One role was contractor's role, otherwise some number one role. Then there's another engineer which is called soil engineer or geotechnical engineer. Geotechnical engineer, who should be there? There should be local laws, there should be other laws. So we can say GA shall ensure location, of course, and availability of hazardous material, of course. GA has to make sure that where is this available, where it's located, and it's, you can say. Then there's another one, it's called IS, infrastructure superintendent shall also, because this may be infrastructural part or whoever is responsible for that, that shall ensure location and availability of hazardous materials, both, and then some other people shall study, inspect and supervise this material, handling, how to handle it, how to dispose it. All these points shall be covered up. And survey to prepare location sketch. Means these are very brief pointed roles. These can change from activity to activity, but involvement is a must. That's what it says. Then we can say safety, health and environment. Prior to commencement of all activities, workforce shall receive a toolbox talk on project site safety requirements. Toolbox talk, some people understand, some people are ignorant. That's only difference. Toolbox talk means person, worker who is engaged on work activities, whatever tool they use, power tool or non-power tool, those tools, operations, real operations, how they should be used in work, keeping in mind safety, that must be taught to everybody. It's taught everybody. If you don't know how to use it, for sure they'll make accidents. They should know even its simple tool doesn't matter, but when you consider safety issues, it's important to understand its functions, how it moves, what the temperature of this body is, that one. We can understand that. So prior to commencement of all activities, workforce shall receive a toolbox talk on project site safety requirements. What tools have in your box you want to discuss, I will discuss. PPE, personal protective equipment where appropriate, shall be provided to those persons who should come into contact with whatever hazardous material. Hazard is hazard. You have to solve it. Then now see what method it is suggested. Hazardous materials shall be located and identified. Simple it is. Now, this shall be recorded somewhere. So, site team or survey team shall record these details upon a site sketch. GE and IS shall inspect. G means, can say, geotechnical engineer and infrastructural superintendent shall inspect this material wherever it is. Visually they see it and complete an inspection report. An accurate description of material shall be provided where elements such as barrels are part of hazardous material. Identifying marks upon barrel shall be checked. Where appropriate, samples shall be taken to verify content. Where such liquids have leaked into soil. Point is, where such liquids have leaked into soil, samples of soil shall be taken to verify amount of contamination. Means some hazardous material has leaked from cylinders and this material goes to your soil. You cannot compromise. You cannot even digest that. So what says? Means we have to inspect these materials, we have to see where these are and what level this is, contaminated. Where such liquids have leaked into soil. Samples of soil, because it contains those materials, those hazard substances, and taken to verify amount of contamination. We should know that. Level of contamination, we should know. It's important. Then we have to establish to what extent these have been contaminated by that material. I mean to say soil has been contaminated. You may have to excavate trial pits to see visually, or you have to measure penetration of contamination, to what depth, to what volume this pollution, this contamination has occurred. Samples of soil from these pits shall verify content and absorption if certain of contaminant. Samples of soil from these pits shall verify content and absorption if certain of contaminant. All this shall be recorded for purpose of study, review and reporting to then we say upon receipt of all this shall be recorded in details for study, review and reporting for required actions by organization, and upon receipt of laboratory results that verify analysis of contaminant. If laboratory results they verify contamination, then a specific safety plan, if it is necessary, shall be prepared for safely handling of suspect material, or means you have to make a plan. If it's really hazardous material, how to dispose it safely, keeping always intact. So upon receipt of laboratory result that say verify analysis of contaminants, a specific safety plan that is required would be prepared for safe handling of suspect material or soil. All precautions that must be that are not defined within this method statement, but essentials shall be taken depending on what is needed, what is required, what is problem, how to solve. Means whatever precautions are essentials would be adhered to, even if it's not given in this statement. That depends upon experience of people. That depends upon what sort of hazards that. Solid items of contamination material shall be lifted by loader or by shovel and then dumped into truck. So you can say solid items you cannot lift by your hands. You have to use shovel machine or loader machine and load it into tipper truck, these solid items. And in that case, you can say a list of items which are being loaded into truck shall be provided, shall be produced. Inventory, you call it inventory. Then permission shall be obtained from operating authority. Permission shall be obtained from operating authority for purpose of disposal of hazardous material. We have to realize these points. Means permission shall be obtained from operating authority for purpose of disposal of hazardous material waste into a designated area. Truck covered with a dust preventive sheet shall transport material to an approved operating authority waste disposal and disposal site in industrial area. You can see then truck covered with, let me see now, just a minute please. Let me go to open something. It's difficult. Hazardous is in fact very important from safety point of view, and that's the reason we are discussing about this, and this may duly respected. Because we deal with this all in our career. It's not available in some books. No book shall give you that. You have to learn it from others, from experts in field. Not everybody claims expert, but this is practical expertise. This is not covered in theoretical books and textbooks. So let me put off the Now we can say that truck covered with a dust preventive sheet shall transport material to an approved operating site. After we get permission from operating authority for purpose of disposal of hazardous material waste into designated area. I'm talking of systems where systems exist, and it exists everywhere. If you read laws of country, you will find these systems. You cannot say it doesn't work in our country. It works everywhere. This is international. It is related to pollution, it is related to environment, and there are environmental laws internationally accepted. In our country too these laws exist, but question is not law, question is implementation of law. So permission shall be obtained from operating authority for purpose of disposal of hazardous material waste into a designated area. Truck covered with a dust preventive sheet shall transport material to an approved operating authority waste disposal site in whatever industrial area it is. Content shall be offloaded in accordance with facility rules and regulations, monitored by contractor representative. Whatever rules demand, whatever requirement demands, accordingly contents of that truck shall be offloaded and monitored by contractor's agent. This process shall continue until all items of waste are removed from site. All items of waste are removed from site. Existing soil material that is contaminated shall be marked with pegs. You have to delimit. You have to mark area where contamination applies. Then you have machine, you have shovel, you have loader. Then you have to excavate that material which is hazardous. Without excavation, you cannot load it. You excavate, use your machine, load it onto your tipper truck, and then cover your truck. Cover your truck when it is full, and while transporting soil to mixing area where soil is stockpiled. So you can say wherever you stockpile near your site, around your site, you take this material there and you have to mix there. This is continuous process until all contaminated soil is removed to satisfaction of geotechnical engineer. You have to excavate all contaminated soil by excavation, by loading, and to take to your stockpiles. Now these stockpiles of contaminated soil shall be lightly spread. This soil which is hazardous, you spread over your area above water table. Of course, if there's water table, which should be achieved by using your machine, shovel or loader and grader in a thickness 150 mm. So you have spread your hazardous contaminated soil on that area in thickness 150 mm. Now you use your grader to mix it with layer of uncontaminated material below. So you mix both contaminated and uncontaminated material, which becomes less concentrative of hazardous material, and we can say you bring it to a state of dispersing material. Means its severity, its degree of being hazardous is reduced, and it can be spread now, it can be disposed, you can say dispersed. because concentration of its being contamination is down, is brought down. Hence then normal layer of uncontaminated material shall be placed upon this. Means this will be indirectly, you can say, go to soil, because you are placing uncontaminated material over this material which is dispersible. And if you think there's one more requirement, further layer of contaminated material can be spread on this layer until stockpile is depleted, means you can consume it. This layer shall be mixed with layer below as described previously. A topping layer of uncontaminated material shall be placed on top of this and mixed. Now this geotechnical engineer shall satisfy that precise itself that layer thickness is minimal and material is adequately mixed with layer below, and upon completion of removal of hazardous material, GE shall prepare a report that identifies material disposed as well as area of disposal. Now, what machine we used, we can write in this area. We use excavator, we use grader, we use dump truck, all that we can write here. And then we have to attach some documents, which ITP used, quality ITP, or which was quality check formula or whatever, visual inspection report, whatever document we used for this purpose should become record attachments. Now there is another one, that is for life cam. On industrial projects, people stay there in deserts. Wherever projects are located in deserts or some other fertile area, there may be certain contract duration camp which are called life camps. Those can be established, and in those camps you will find certain sewage system also. That sewage system means there is a sewerage, actually we call it sewerage, not sewage. Sewage flows through that. So sewerage system it is. Again same thing here, same point applies. Index, what index you have to do. Same, you may say that we have scope, reference, documents, definitions, responsibilities, safety, methods and attachment. All this in combination you can call method statements or procedure statement. So scope, again we have to define what is purpose of this statement, and we can say that resort to actions that shall be implemented to monitor and control sewage holding tank. Sewage holding tank, big one. What about its status? So that its overflow must be avoided. Because it's scam, many people use it. We have to dispose it. Because septic tank is not allowed. Document. Well, we can say our method statement is waste management. How to do that? And then there again same here, designations or positions of responsibility like project site manager, construction site manager, construction superintendent, site engineers, foreman, quality control, camp leader or camp boss, transport manager, and whatever is required you can add to that. There's no limit. These positions or some other equivalent positions or whatever you think is more important to be included in, depending on type of method statements, class of method statements, you can do that. So here are differences that they are camp boss and transport managers, others are same. Now these responsibilities are also same. I'll just repeat them. Roles are indicative, not definite, can be revised according to requirement. PSM shall control overall operations with head of site leader. C. Construction site manager shall arrange resources required accordingly and act overall responsible for excavation operation. I can say excavation operation, and we can start. CSM shall arrange resources required accordingly and act overall responsible for excavation operation. And CS shall control, monitor and direct site engineer, foreman. CS stands for construction superintendent, shall ask report from site engineer, foreman and workforce for operations. Site engineer shall be responsible for all site operations and follow instructions of superintendent or project leader, whatever you can say, depends on site. These are just directory designations. Ultimately, those who are front runners, they are responsible. And mishap on crossing operations shall immediately be notified. If something happens, something wrong happens, then following instructions of CS, that's construction superintendent, mishap on crossing operations shall immediately be notified to construction superintendent and CSM for major action. If required for possible remedy or record of relevant authority review, whatsoever case may be. Foreman shall execute operations, deploying workforce and instruct in full in medium of language those persons understand about all required measures or conduct of start or toolbox talks every day, and check that instructions are followed up regularly. You understand what toolbox talks is related to every tool used on site, power or non-power, how we have to use this safely. This explanation is given to those working on site day-to-day basis and dedicated. Then also start card if it's applicable in that group or in that organization. Safety task review, safety task, that is a card which gives this is your assignment. You have to have these precautions. You have to work in this. Means like that allotment is made. That's generally called start task solve. Safety task analysis review technique, risk review technique. Safety task analysis risk review technique means that we have to understand in that. Then quality control inspect all operations according to specifications and IT requires very common. And then CAMBOSS, CB stands for camp in charge, you should say generally we call CAMBOSS, shall conduct required monitoring and record keeping of investigation. Then TM shall ensure, transport manager shall ensure provision of disposal tankers as and when required. So let's go into that what it says now. It just gives about safety. Safety officers shall monitor daily activity. Safety officers shall monitor daily activities and advising and implementing all safety procedures prior to commencement of whatever activity. Workforce shall receive a safe start, that I just said, safety task analysis risk review technique, and toolbox talk on project safety site requirements respecting involved items. Activity process invoking particular safety risk shall be calculated based by job hazard analysis or assessment and necessary measures adopted to address risk issue so that included measures comply to real requirement standards. So this is a process, involving a particular safety risk shall be calculated by job hazard assessment, or you can say analysis, and whatever measures required to be adopted to address such risk issues. That measure could include comply to real requirement standards, and only competent person shall be engaged to carry out operations. Personnel involved shall use all necessary PPEs, that is, personal protective equipment, required for all pertinent activities. You can say we need certain means. What is water is also a means. Adequate quantity or ample water means should be available on site for workers as well as for all other intended site requirements or purposes. Safety officers shall ensure about all those persons working on shift activities should be fully aware of safety obligations and implementation expected of them. Emergency procedure for first aid shall be explained to everybody. That is first aid emergency procedures. All equipment, tools that operate on site shall always be in full working order with appropriate tools, with appropriate lighting wherever required. All relevant safety issues, including hygiene precautions, shall be implemented, monitored and maintained for this activity. Site safety department shall monitor sewage disposal areas. Now we come to facts. What is method after all for this? Which is actually, this is important point technically, other points are administratively, as we say, references, scope, safety, quality, like that. Now what it says? It says that there is a camp, there is a STP, say a sewage treatment plant, there is a tank also that contains sewage. Generally we call it holding tank or you can say containment. Generally it's called containment. Now what says? A new water meter to record water use shall be installed prior to water storage tanks. For next 1 month, regular readings at specific times shall be recorded to establish water requirement trends. Information collected from this exercise shall help to understand peak demand periods, which also define sewage disposal requirements. In parallel to this water input recording, a survey of sewage holding tanks, filling tanks shall be established. Just let's put off light point because it's down. Okay, let's now go away. So, in parallel to this water input recording, a survey of sewage holding tanks filling trend shall be established. A tank volume indicator system installed at every sewage holding tank. This indicator system shall consist of a visible indicator rod. The system consists of actually. Now, based on float system, rod shall rise up as holding tank fills. Rod will move up and down, and when holding tank fills, rod shall raise up. This visual system shall remind CM, construction manager, to organize emptying of tank or arrange that tanker should come to carry with it to transport sewage. That is purpose of tank, and purpose of this tank is this containment is it should release itself from that and receive more sewage. This system reminds authorized CM, or if not CM, someone else, maybe CAM boss, possibly, because CAM boss is dedicatedly available there. CM may not be there. Well, doesn't matter. Now data obtained from tanker drivers a number of loads discharged help verify water meter quantity to establish leakages. Now existing a provision for trucking of sewage, or existing provision for trucking of sewage waste shall be monitored. Fleet capacity shall be increased as required based upon results of survey. A review of collected data shall be conducted after 1 month to supplement existing operational criteria as required. Responsibility for compiling information be entrusted to camp boss, possibly, who ensures that water consumption is regularly monitored, that areas of water abuse are identified, that holding tank emptying schedule established, as well as formulating measures to conserve and recycle water wherever possible. Initial trucking capacity that is dedicated to sewage disposal activity is 2 truck. Initial trucking capacity that is dedicated to sewage disposal activity is 2 truck. These trucks operate on both suction fill and plumb fill system. Survey shall review, confirm required trucking levels needed service holding tanks, and in that case there are attachments. Now there's another one, removal of contaminated soil means it's only part in this, means this is not, means just the specific it is, which I not posted yet, but no problem. Scope is same, same reference index scope is this to define how to remove and dispose of material within hazardous material location. That's what's purpose of this is to define procedure that shall be adopted for removal and disposal of material within hazardous material location, a different aspect. Documents, HSC manual of contractor, operating authority regulations, method statements, how we are doing removal of hazardous material, and laboratory report. Whatever laboratory, this is named laboratory, this is only indicative, whatever approved laboratory. Then there are definitions of roles like EPC, which is a contractor, engineering procurement contractor, construction contractor, there may be civil contractor, there may be project site manager, and all those responsibilities are here. Laboratory name, then same duties as we said before. Important point is not that. Important point is that safety. What is safety here? Safety officials shall monitor and implement all HSE or SHE and environmental precautions. When material is asked about, what did you say? Now we say safety officers will monitor and implement all HSC and environment precautions. We can say area is a method actually. Area identified and tested for hazardous materials shall be disposed in accordance with relevant rules and regulations. Identified contaminated soil shall be removed from hazardous material area by using excavator directly dumping into truck. Dump truck. Dump truck shall be loaded. Dump truck shall be loaded carefully so that contaminated soil does not spill from dump truck whilst transporting en route to disposal area. A temporary stockpile area shall be designated whilst permanent disposal location is agreed. A stockpile area shall be clearly identified with barrier, tape defining in limits, as material in this case is stable. You can say dump truck shall be loaded carefully so that contaminated soil does not spill from dump truck whilst transporting en route to disposal area. A temporary stockpile area shall be designated whilst permanent disposal location is agreed. Stockpile area shall be clearly identified with barrier, tape, defining limits. A material in this case is stable and inert. No special precautions are required for stockpiling conditions. A visual inspection of excavated area to establish removal of contaminated if then we can say stockpile area shall be clearly identified with barrier tape defining limits. Material in this case is stable and inert. No special precautions are required for stockpiling conditions. A visual inspection of excavated area to establish removal of all contaminated soil shall be conducted. Contaminated soil is in this case dark black in color, while it can be of a different color, white, considering other cases of various locations. Samples of resultant exposed materials. Then we can say visual inspection of excavated area to establish removal of all contaminated soil shall be conducted. Contaminated soil is in this case dark black in color, while it can be of different color, while considering other cases of various locations. Samples of resultant exposed material shall be taken for analysis, and here equipment is truck and ITP etc. Waste management is for. Now, scope reference index same. Scope is only little different that Purpose of this statement is to define procedure that shall be adopted for management of solid and liquid waste products produced by civil contractor on company petrochemicals project. Reference document, EPC contractor procedures, also operator procedure, and definitions of contractors and civil contractor and responsibility all same responsibility. I am not going to responsibilities, you can read yourself. I posted. So civil contractor project manager shall ensure all management of waste disposal. Waste disposal activities should be clearly defined, and disposal operations shall be managed by transport department in accordance with requirements of operating authority, waste management authority, and is referenced EPC contractor project procedure. All activities conducted in connection with management of solid and liquid waste disposal shall be done in a safe and environmentally we now can say that let's consider liquid waste. Then it's a complicated one, of course. We can consider this little reading only, then solid waste, and then we can say liquid waste. Liquid waste is identified as those materials within sewage holding tanks located in camp area, site area, and civil contractor surrounding facilities. It can be wherever. After all, its containment. Liquid waste is identified as those materials within sewage holding tanks located in camp area, site area, and civil contractor surrounding facilities. Purpose-built truck shall be used for removal and disposal of all liquid waste materials, while sewage treatment plant STP is being built in camp. At that time, so being built. This plant is made of 2 number units, each of 100 cubic meter per day capacity. This plant is made of 2 numbers unit, each of 100 cubic meter per day capacity. Transport department has mobilized to plant 2 number sewage trailers, 200 numbers. You can say this plant is made of 2 number units each of 100 cubic meter capacity per day. Transport department has mobilized to plant 2 numbers sewage trailers each 12,000 gallon capacity, 2 number sewage trucks each 2,000 gallon capacity, and 1 Then we can say in this, the transport department has mobilized 2 number sewage trailers, each 12,000 gallon capacity, 2 number sewage trucks, each 2,000 gallon capacity, and 1 number sewage vacuum truck, 6,000 gallon capacity. Now trucking capacity of above fleet is 80,000 gallons per 24 hours. 80,000 gallons. Competent drivers are available on site to cater for transportation of sewage to plant for its treatment to acceptable known contamination levels. So competent drivers are available on site, means I'm talking of that time. For transportation of sewage to plant for its treatment to acceptable non-contamination levels. Alright, so say all sewage sites shall be treated in plant as follows. So let us see what it says. Says 200 cubic meter per day at sewage treatment plant, which writes STP in CAM, which is scheduled for final commissioning by date. 25,000 gallons per day shall be treated at operating authority plant, housing complex per agreement with operating authority management reference. 3,000 to 30,000, 4,000, 30,000 to 40,000 gallons per day shall be treated at sewage treatment plant STP per attached letter, which is enumerated by manager of authority reference. Sorry. Consumption of fresh water along with sewage quantities in CAP are being currently recorded for attachment. This consumption of fresh water along with sewage quantities are recorded separately. Figures demonstrate that average daily sewage throughout per head occupant is around 30 gallons per day. Based on above available sewage treating capacity, we can cater to more than 2,400 persons when STP is fully operational and can manage close to 1,600 persons without sewage treatment plant STP. While sewage treatment plant is being commissioned, we can say while sewage treatment plant is being commissioned, sewage is being pumped out from sewage holding tank to plant and disposal site using civil contractor fleet. Earthbound bunds around sewage tanks are built to stop possible water ingress to those tanks and avoid undue health hazard. Earth embankments, you can say, are around sewage tank are built to stop possible water ingress to these tanks and avoid undue health hazards. Sewage drip trays have been provided for these filling pumps, which should contain all now sewage treatment STP sewage drip trays have been provided for these filling pumps. Sewage drip trays have been provided for these filling pumps, which should contain all sewage spills during filling of trucks. These are all protective measures, you can say. We are providing earth bunds, we are providing sewage drip trays, and these drip trays are piped back to septic tank. They have written septic tank, but this is containment actually. These trays are piped back to containment, I'll correct it. Sewage treatment plant STP vendor has confirmed that water quality shall have 5 to 10 milligram per liter of organic materials, which makes throughput water suitable for irrigation and or dumping in open desert. We intend to utilize around 150 to 200 cubic meter per day of treated water for irrigation of lawns and trees in camp. We intend to utilize about 150 to 200 cubic meter day per day of treated water for irrigation of lawns and trees in camp. Balanced quantities of water shall be discharged to earth retention polyclinic east of Avenue pending receipt of client approval. Then you can say balanced quantities of water shall be either discharged into earth retention pooling retention pond located east of Avenue depending receipt of client approach. A flexible hose shall be laid along Then you can say flexible hose shall be laid along fence line to first storm water culvert box for discharge of above water. Daily water quality shall be tested to confirm suitability for above two means of disposal. Water quality we have to test. Now what is about solid waste? This is liquid waste. Solid waste is identified as waste material generated from camp and site facilities such as kitchen waste, dustbin waste, paper waste, general waste materials. Storage of these waste materials shall be made in appropriate skips. Disposal of arrangement for all categories of waste material have been agreed with operating authority waste management. Facilities at landfill site are for general waste where incineration and landfill is conducted. We may say disposal arrangement for all categories of waste material have been agreed with operating authority, waste management, and facilities at landfill site are for general waste where incineration and landfill is conducted. General waste includes kitchen waste, domestic waste, timber and burnable material. Purpose-built waste truck with facilities to trip skips into on-board collection unit shall be operated on a pre-arranged schedule by transport department. Waste truck shall empty waste skips into disposal unit of waste truck. Waste truck shall employ empty waste skips into disposal area of waste truck. Spilling of waste material we can say now when waste truck is full it shall travel to operating authority landfill site for emptying, and before that spillage of waste material shall be cleaned up as operating operation continue. Now, at this site under direction of landfill manager, waste truck shall empty its contents into a pre-dug hole. Waste truck shall inform transport department each time this hole becomes full. Hole. This hole means W is missing actually, sorry. A new hole shall be excavated as appropriate. Hole is a pit actually. Cycle shall continue during operation hours. Then you can say cycle shall continue during operating hours of landfill facility. Driver of waste truck shall complete a daily log book and display upon what truck wanted. Now, permit to use operating authority landfill site is displayed upon waste truck windscreens. Equipment are treatment plant, purpose built liquid waste tanker. You can say now what is equipment required for this? Treatment plant unit, STP, purpose built liquid waste tanker, purpose built solid waste disposal truck, waste escapes. And what are attachments? Daily water report, sewage quantities report, sewage analysis. This was solid waste management talked of means treatment plant, purpose built liquid waste tanker, and purpose made solid waste disposal truck, waste escapes, and daily water report is attachment, and sewage quantities report, vendor statement on quality of and annotated letter for sewage treatment from authority, and there the safety issues means all that. So there are more statements we'll take later on. I'm just closing here. Closing, I mean to say this part of talk, which is of course very improving. Improvement now. What actually we are doing so far? Now, I was talking about something which is very important last day, that was about thermal curing or differential, I think it's not thermal curing itself, thermocouples. I was talking about yesterday, thermocouples. which was a very important item, and let's see if we can get something out of that. Let's go today in some details of this. Thermocouple. What is that? A thermocouple is a sensor. This measures temperature. Thermocouple is a sensor used to measure temperature. Thermocouples consist of two wire legs made from different metals. Wires legs are welded together at one end, creating a junction. The junction is where temperature is measured. This thermocouple consists of two wire legs made from different metals. Wires legs are welded together at one end, creating a junction. This junction is where temperature is measured. When junction experiences a change in temperature and now we are talking of thermocouples actually. Now this junction of two metallic wires is measured. This temperature measured. When junction experiences a change in temperature, a voltage is created. Voltage can then be interpreted using thermocouples, and there's a table, maybe you can't read that, to calculate temperature. There are many types of thermocouples, each with its own unique characteristics in terms of temperature, service of information. Now let us see how it works. The junctions where temperature measured, and there are many types of thermocouples, each with its own unique characteristics in terms of temperature range, durability, vibration, resistance, chemical resistance, and application compatibility. These are J, K, T, and E types. J, K, T, and E are base metal thermocouples, most common type of thermocouples, base metal thermocouples. Then there are R, S, and B, which are noble metal thermocouples, which are used in high temperature applications. Thermocouples are used in many industrial, scientific, and OEM applications. They can be found in nearly all industrial markets. Nearly all industrial markets. Thermocouples, as we know, are used in many industrial, scientific, and OEM applications. They can be found in nearly all industrial markets: power generation, oil and gas industry, as well as so we can say thermocouples are typically selected because of their low cost, high temperature limits, wide temperature ranges, and durable nature. Before discussing various types of thermocouple, it should be noted that thermocouple is often enclosed in a protective sheath to isolate it from local atmosphere. This protective sheath drastically reduces effect of corrosion. Now, type K thermocouple, nickel chromium, nickel aluminum. This type is most common type of thermocouple. It is expensive. Now what we say thermocouple, nickel chromium, and let me say just a minute if I don't miss it. Reference table I am trying to find. Maybe not from this. I can't find from this. No way. Well, we'll see it later on. This is type K, nickel chromium, nickel alum. Type K is most common type of thermocouple. It is inexpensive, accurate, reliable, and has two wide temperature ranges. Temperature ranges are thermocouple grade wire -270 Celsius to 1260 Celsius. Extension wire, that is 0 to 200 Celsius. No. This is -270 to 1260 degrees Celsius. and this is grade wire, and this is extension wire is 0 to 200 degrees Celsius. Accuracy, we can say standard is plus minus 2.2 degrees Celsius, and special limit of error is plus minus 1.1 degrees Celsius. J thermocouple, copper constant 10. This type is very stable thermocouple and is often used in extremely low temperature and applications such as cryogenics in ultra low freezers. Temperature range, thermocouple grade wire minus 270 to 370 degrees Celsius, and there in case K was 270 to 1260. This is lesser than that. So minus 270 to 370 degrees Celsius, and extension wire 0 to 200 degrees Celsius. Extension wire is same. Accuracy, which is greater, a standard one minus 1 degrees Celsius, or special limits of error, that is 0.5 C. We can say thermocouple here is 270 minus to 370, and wire is, that is, you can say 0 to 200 degrees. Accuracy is plus minus 1 degrees Celsius, and special limit of error is minus plus 0.5 Celsius. Now type E thermocouple nickel chromium is stronger signal, better than this, you can say, and higher accuracy than type K. Type J at moderate temperature ranges. Now temperature range is minus 270 to 870 degrees Celsius. Extension wire 0 to 200. Type N thermocouple, this is this whole type N, shares same accuracy and temperature limit as type K. Type N is slightly more expensive, and it is almost minus 270 to 322 grade wire. Extension wire is 0 to 100 degrees Celsius. Plus minus 2.2 Celsius standard. Special limit of error plus minus 1.1. So we can say noble metal thermocouples. Noble metal thermocouples. Noble metal thermocouples. Noble metal thermocouples are selected. Noble metal thermocouples are selected for their ability to withstand extremely high temperature while maintaining their accuracy and lifespan. They are considerably more expensive than base metal. In this are S, R and B type. Type S thermocouple, platinum rhodium 10% platinum. This type is used in very high temperature applications, commonly found in biotech and pharmaceutical industries, sometimes used in lower temperature applications because of its high accuracy and stability. Temperature range is minus 50 to 1400 80 degrees Celsius. Extension wire is 0 to 200 Celsius. Accuracy plus minus 1.5 degrees C, and spatial limit of error plus minus 0.6 C. Type R, thermocouple platinum rhodium 13%. Type R is used in very high temperature applications. It has a higher percentage of rhodium than type S, which makes it more expensive. This type R is very similar to type S in terms of performance. It is sometimes used in lower temperature applications because of its high accuracy and stability. Temperature range thermocouple grade wire minus 50 to 1480, extension wire 0 to 200. Accuracy whichever is greater, standard is plus minus 1.5 Celsius and special is 0 plus minus 0.6 Celsius. Type B, thermocouple platinum rhodium 30%, used in extremely high accuracy and stability at very high temperatures. Temperature range thermocouple grade wire 0 to 1700 degrees Celsius, extension wire to 0 to 100. Accuracy is plus minus 0.5%. Spatial limit plus minus 0.25%. Thermocouple junctions. Grounded thermocouples. This is most common junction style. A thermocouple is grounded. A thermocouple is grounded when both thermocouple wires and sheath are all welded together to form one junction at probe tip. Grounded thermocouples have a very high good response time because thermocouple makes direct contact with sheath, allowing heat to transfer easily. A drawback of grounded thermocouple is that thermocouple is more susceptible to electrical interference. This is because sheath then we can say ground thermocouples. As I said, this is most common junction. Thermocouple is ground in both thermocouple wires and sheaths are welded together to form one junction at probe tip. Grounded thermocouple have very good response time because thermocouples are making direct contact with sheath, allowing heat to transfer easily. A drawback of the grounded thermocouple is that thermocouple is more susceptible to electrical interference. It's because sheath often comes into contact with surrounding area, providing a path for interference. Ungrounded thermocouples or ungrounded common thermocouples is ungrounded when thermocouple wires are welded together but they are insulated from sheath. Wires are often separated by mineral insulation. Exposed thermocouples or bare wire thermocouples. A thermocouple is exposed when thermocouple wires are welded together and directly inserted into process. Response time is very quick, but exposed thermocouples wires are more prone to corrosion and degradation unless your application requires exposed junctions. This style is not recommended. Ungrounded, uncommon. Ungrounded, uncommon. Ungrounded, uncommon thermocouple consists of a dual thermocouple that is insulated from sheath and each of element is insulated. Each of elements are insulated from one another. Thermocouple sheath comparison. 316 SS or 304 SS. Stainless steel is 316 SS. This is most common sheath material 316SS. It is relatively corrosion resistant and is cost effective. 304SS, it is not as corrosion resistant as 316SS. Cost difference between 316SS and 304SS is nominal. Inconel registered trademark 600. Material is recommended for highly corrosive environments. Special limits of errors. These thermocouples are made with high grade of thermocouple with now what is we can say special limits of error. These thermocouples are made with a higher grade of thermocouple wire which increases their accuracy. They are more expensive than standard thermocouples, and standard limits, these are thermocouples used standard thermocouple grade wire, they are less expensive. Now what is MI cable? MI cable is mineral insulated cable, is used to insulate thermocouple wires from one another and from metal sheath that surround them. Mineral insulated cable has two of 4 duplex thermocouple wires running down middle of tube. Tube is then filled with magnesium oxide powder and compacted to ensure wires are probably insulated and separated. MI cable helps to protect thermocouple from wire from corrosion and electrical interference. System error is calculated by adding accuracy of temperature sensor, thermocouple, and accuracy of meter used to read voltage signal barrier. A type K thermocouple has an accuracy of, let us say, plus minus 2.2 degrees Celsius. It's about 0 degrees Celsius. Let's say meter has an accuracy of plus minus 1 degree Celsius. That means total system error is plus minus 3.3. So you can say whatever you provide, you'll get that kind of response, and nothing else. Means as much as you spend money, as much you facility get, you'll get that kind of response, and nothing very specific on that. Means it's like that. So I think these are complete details of thermocouples. You can read if you wish. You can read if you wish. One thing was very important in this was that I missed actually This was, let me go see how I can get it to you. I get it to you, and the site was thermocouples, and this were that thermocouples.com, I think it is. Thermocoupleinfo.com. Welcome to thermocoupleinfo.com. Let us see if I can say this. I am trying to find something, temperature ranges, reference tables. I could do that. Type J, type K, or should I take this like this? I don't know. Do that. It's not clear anyway. It's not clear. No, it's not giving what I wanted. It's not giving clear answer. It's not giving clear answer. No, I'll change it other way. Let me go different way. Let me go other way, then let us see how to do it. I put it by mistake, error. By mistake I have closed this problem. Let us see if image works. No, maybe it image works. Let me see if it can work. Copy link and save image as type J thermocouples, type J PDF. Alright, this is in 77p. Type PDF. Let me see if I can do it. And let me see this one. Then type K. Let me see this much. Type T. Let me see this much. Type E N. Type E. And let me see type B. I'm doing as many as possible so that we can know. Type R. Then type S. Okay, let me see if I can use it for my purpose. How? I'll show you just now. Just give me a minute, please. These general records, and I am here. This is Suraj here, and this is here. You can say management documents, and this is actual site sketches. Let me see if I can get you something. Let's see, type B, and this is print. Type D, okay. It's not coming clear. Oh, I'm not getting clear. So problem is this. I'm not getting clear, unfortunately. That's the issue. It's wasting time actually. I'm not getting any clear answer from this. If I can see, if I can send a sketch. Let me see. use. I think it's waste of time. I'm not getting any clear picture from that. Unfortunate it is. So what to do? Sometimes you're helpless, you can't do anything on this. Well, what to do? So, well, it's okay. I could not assist in this. Means I could not find where it should be. I'll find other way out. Now we're talking of concrete, temperatures of concrete, as I discussed about thermocouples. It's very important because of knowing internal temperature of massive block, massive concrete, and external temperature. We should know within massive block what's happening to temperature world, what temperature it's in, and what is variation inside at various depths of footing, and how much heat is generated inside. And also we have to see application of temperature is very important in concrete. We have to take it very seriously. Just pouring concrete is not enough. Qualitative requirement to be fulfilled of concrete is very important. It may be generator foundation, it may be alternator foundation, it may be tabletop beam frame, it may be columns of tabletop, it may be foundation of tabletop, it may be thick rafts, more than 1 meter, more than 800 mm, more than 600 mm. Generally, specification says whatever member whose minimum size is more than 600 mm, we have to take care of temperature, because temperature is involved there. That's very important. It can create havocs. Of course, we use supplementary cementing materials. Even then, temperature is developed, and we have to handle that. How to handle that? It's very important. What we should do, how we should do. Statements are there. We can say yes, we can cure it, but everybody doesn't know what procedure of curing should be adopted. That's important point. Which procedure we have to adopt, how to adopt, how to take care of that. Then these all are important point for ordinary footings and massive blocks or thick members. You can say thick members, massive blocks, and like I said, fair face concrete if it is thick also. Then architectural finishes, we have to take care of all this. This is a very, very important one. Then compressor foundations has come in. We have to take care of this also. Compressor foundations, concrete pour, where temperature is very important. We don't want to lose those temperatures. If we allow to lose those temperatures which are developed in, means this will in fact leave that foundation and create problems in concrete of massive block, thick element. Even if GGBS is used and this is allowed to leave evaporation, heat-based energy is allowed to be evaporated, how will you compensate that loss? Flooding will not help, because if foundation is 2 meters deep, your allowing water won't help on this. How to keep that temperature surrounding this massive block envelope out? This temperature should remain inside, and it will help. It must help curing procedure of concrete. That is basics behind that, and we generally term it by name heat-based curing or thermal curing. Thermal curing does not allow loss of heat generated within massive block or thick element. That point we have to understand, and that's why I'm stressing this much, because it is massive block. Let us say there is 500 cubic meter concrete in that block. 500 cubic meter concrete in one small foundation is not joke. Even size of raft is big. If you say raft of silos, big raft of silos, or raft of multi-story buildings, which may be big size, but foundation of machine size is not that big, but volume is big, quantity is big. So we have to tolerate, we have to contain that heat generated in the foundation, and that is done by enclosing completely in such a way that no heat is allowed to escape from mass of concrete, from containment of concrete. That is where we say professionally we have to apply heat based curing arrangement or thermal curing. Even in steam curing, this is not a problem because that is not thermal based. Of course, that is steam based, but here it's out of control. We don't know what's happening inside, what happens inside. There is no way to know about that. So I'll come back to you with that type of arrangement which we have to do. I explained to you before, but again explanation is very much. I will take you to some other statements that we put on that, and we will talk together about that point of understanding what is required and what is not required. That point is very, very important. With this, I think I take my leave, and we should do better again. I hope you're right.